Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hi there.
Today, we're diving deep into, well, a pretty big list actually. Over 60 advanced English vocabulary words, and they all kick off with the letter T.
That's right. And this isn't just about memorizing a list. Think of it more as an exploration.
Exactly. We want to help you sharpen your understanding and use of English, really aiming for that C1 level.
We'll be unpacking the words, looking at the subtle differences, the nuances.
And seeing how they actually work in real contexts. The goal, to help you communicate with, well, more precision and confidence.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Let's jump right in with a very active verb, tackle. What does that bring to mind for you?
Tackle. Yeah, straight away it makes me think of dealing with something directly, a problem, a challenge.
Right, there's an energy to it.
Definitely. It's proactive, not just thinking about a problem, but actually doing something to try and overcome it.
Like a government trying to tackle unemployment?
Precisely. That suggests they're putting policies in place, taking action. It's not passive.
Or maybe someone tackling a personal fear, like public speaking.
Good example. They'd be actively joining workshops, maybe seeking out chances to present. It shows determination. It's stronger than just, say, addressing a fear.
That proactive energy is key. And it's pretty versatile too, isn't it? It's not just for abstract things.
No, absolutely. You mentioned rugby earlier.
Yeah, rugby players tackling each other. Very physical, very direct overcoming of an obstacle.
Or a team tackling a complex project, breaking it down, getting stuck in.
Yeah, it really has that sense of determined effort. Okay, moving on. Let's look at a pair that sometimes trips people up. Tactic and tactical. What's the main difference?
Okay, the key thing is scope, really. A tactic, that's a noun, it's a specific action, a strategy you use to achieve a goal.
Usually short term.
Often, yeah. Especially in competitive situations like business or sports, it's like one specific move in your overall game plan.
And tactical.
That's the adjective. It describes actions that are carefully planned to get a specific result. It's about the overall methodical approach.
So the tactic is the move. Being tactical is the approach.
You got it. Tactic is the what? Tactical is the how, in a way.
Could you give us a few examples to make it clearer?
Sure. For tactic, think of a marketing team using social media influencers. That's a specific tactic to reach young people.
Or staying calm in a negotiation.
Yeah, that could be a tactic to gain an advantage. A chess player making a surprise sacrifice. That's a tactic. Using humor in a presentation. Also a tactic to connect with the audience.
Okay, those are specific actions. What about tactical?
Right, the adjective. A coach substituting a player at just the right moment. That's a tactical decision.
A planned move.
Exactly. Or in a debate, addressing every single point your opponent makes systematically. That's a tactical approach.
Like a company's pricing strategy.
Definitely tactical if it's carefully planned. Military maneuvers designed to achieve something specific. Very tactical.
Got it. That really helps distinguish them. Okay, let's shift gears. A word we hear a lot, especially around budget time. Taxpayer. Seems simple, but what's hiding beneath the surface?
Well, the basic meaning is obvious, someone who pays taxes. But it's loaded with implications, isn't it, in economics, politics, public policy.
They're the ones funding public services, essentially.
Exactly. They're central to how government works. So when people talk about, say, reducing the tax burden, they're talking directly about these individuals and companies.
It implies a sort of relationship between the citizen and the state.
It does, and that leads to things like taxpayer expectations.
Right. What does it usually mean?
It generally means that people who pay taxes feel they have a right to know how that money is being spent. They expect transparency, accountability.
Value for money, basically.
Pretty much. And governments use tax policies like incentives for green energy to influence taxpayer behavior.
And of course, taxpayers have responsibilities too. Keeping records, paying on time.
That's all part of it. Okay, let's move to something a bit more alluring. Tempt. To entice someone, often towards something they maybe shouldn't do.
Huh. Yes, it definitely has that hint of forbidden fruit sometimes.
Precisely. It's not just persuading. There's often an element of allure, maybe going against your better judgment.
Like the smell of fresh cookies tempting someone on a diet. The classic example.
That's the one. The desire is there, even though you know you shouldn't give in.
It captures that internal struggle really well. Any other context?
Sure. Describing exciting adventures to tempt a cautious friend into joining in.
Playing on their desire for excitement.
Right. Or a much higher salary tempting you to leave a job you actually like. weighing the pros and cons.
And advertising, of course.
Well, absolutely. The whole industry is basically built on tempting consumers, appealing to desires, aspirations.
Okay, tempt persuasion with a hint of risk. Now, tenant, common in real estate, but any finer points learners might miss.
Well, the main meaning is straightforward. Someone renting property. Key term in law, real estate.
But you mentioned it can be metaphorical.
Yeah, occasionally. You could say an idea was a temporary tenant in public discourse, meaning it was there for a while but didn't last. It's less common, but possible.
Interesting. But sticking to the literal meaning, what are typical situations?
Oh, loads. A tenant complaining about a leak. A landlord praising a responsible tenant who always pays on time.
Tenants forming a committee in a big building.
Exactly. To deal with shared issues. And historically, you had tenant farmers who worked the land they rented. Shows the long history of the word.
Amazing how simple words have these layers. Yeah. Okay, let's look at tender. An adjective with a few different flavors.
It is versatile. On one hand, it means gentle, caring, sensitive, often about emotions or how people interact.
Like a tender hug.
Perfect example, full of affection. But then it also means physically soft or delicate.
Like tender steak. Easy to cut.
Yep. Or the tender leaves of a young plant easily damaged.
So it covers both feelings and physical states. Makes it great for descriptive writing.
Absolutely. Tender words in a speech can be very moving. Tender new shoots need protection. It adds nuance.
Tender, gentle, or delicate. Next up, tenure. Often heard in academia. What's the core mean?
Primarily, tenure is the period you hold a position, like a CEO's tenure at a company, how long they were there.
But the academic meaning is quite specific, right? Job security.
Exactly. Academic tenure gives professors significant job security after a probationary period. It's designed to protect academic freedom.
So they can research potentially controversial things without fear of being fired.
That's the idea. It's a big deal in universities. It underpins their ability to explore difficult questions.
So it's about duration, but also security, especially in academia. Does it apply elsewhere?
Yes, it can also refer to the conditions for holding land or property. A farmer might have long-term tenure through a lease.
So the right to hold something.
Right. And you might talk about someone's achievements during their tenure in a role, focusing on their impact over that time.
Okay, tenure, holding a position, often with security. Now, terminate. Sounds very final. Formal.
It does, and that's the point. It's a formal verb meaning to bring something to an end. Completely stop it.
You hear it in legal or business contexts a lot.
Definitely. Terminating a contract, terminating employment, terminating a project because funding ran out. It signals a clear, often irreversible stop.
So more definitive than just ending something.
Much more so. Canceling a subscription, you're terminating the agreement. Firing someone for breaking rules, that's terminating their contract. Ending a ceasefire, it's terminated.
Terminate. A formal final stop. Let's move outdoors to terrain. Describes the land, but what exactly?
Terrain refers to a stretch of land, specifically focusing on its physical features. Is it rocky, flat, hilly? What's the ground like?
So it's characteristics. Elevation, surface.
Exactly. How suitable is it for something? Geographers use it all the time. Hikers might struggle with rocky terrain.
So it's not just the view, but the actual physical nature of the ground. Where else is it used?
Travel, definitely. Especially adventure travel. Vehicles designed for rough terrain.
Military strategy.
Crucial. Understanding the terrain is key for planning battles, maneuvering troops. Fighting on uneven terrain presents specific challenges.
Even farming.
Sure, assessing the terrain to see which crops will grow best.
Terrain. The physical features of land. Okay, let's inject some positivity. Terrific. Great word for enthusiasm.
It really is. Nowadays, it just means extremely good, impressive. Though, interestingly, it used to mean something causing terror or awe.
Language changes. So now it's just
Right.
really, really good.
Pretty much. That was a terrific concert. Means you loved it. High praise.
What are other common uses? She did a terrific job organizing the party.
Perfect. Or, what a terrific view from up here. Emphasizes how impressive it is.
He has a terrific sense of humor.
Yeah, very engaging, makes people laugh. Just a solid word for strong approval.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Extremely good. Now, into the legal world with testify and testimony, what's the difference?
Okay, testify is the verb, the action of giving evidence, usually under oath in a formal setting like a court.
Swearing to tell the truth.
Right. And testimony is the noun. It's the actual statement or evidence given. Or it can mean proof of something more generally.
So testify is the act. testimony is the content.
Exactly. Their main home is the legal system, but they can pop up elsewhere.
Examples of both.
For testify, a witness testifies about what they saw. Colleagues might testify to someone's hard work. A scientist might testify before Congress about climate change. Survivors might testify about the bravery of rescuers.
Okay. And testimony.
A witness's testimony could be key to a conviction. Someone's testimony might contain shocking revelations. A moving book could be described as a testimony to human resilience. Scientific findings can provide testimony supporting a theory.
Testify, give evidence. Testimony, the evidence given. Let's switch senses now to texture.
Texture. This is about the feel, the appearance, the consistency of something, how it feels to touch, mainly, but also how it looks.
Crucial for describing food, materials, art.
Absolutely. A cake might have a light, fluffy texture. That's appealing.
So is that sensory quality? How else is it used?
An artist might build up thick paint for a rich texture. The texture of fabric, rough or smooth, affects how we use it.
Chefs talk about contrasting textures in a dish, right?
Yes. Crunchy, smooth, creamy. It makes eating more interesting.
Texture. The feel and look of a surface. Next, an adverb expressing relief. Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Yeah,
it's pretty straightforward. You use it to show you're grateful or relieved that something bad didn't happen or that something good did.
Like, thankfully, the storm didn't damage the roof.
Exactly. Expresses relief. You were worried, but it turned out okay.
It signals that fortunate outcome. Other examples?
I was late, but thankfully my boss understood. Shows appreciation for the understanding.
Thankfully, we finished the project on time. Relief again.
My dog ran off, but thankfully we found him safe. Relief and joy.
Thankfully, showing gratitude for a good result. Let's move to the stage with theatrical.
Theatrical has two main uses. First, literally relating to the theater or acting. Theatrical costumes, theatrical lighting.
Stuff you see on stage.
Right. But second, it can describe behavior that's exaggerated, overly dramatic, like someone's acting rather than being genuine.
And that second meaning can be a bit critical.
Often, yes. If you say someone had a theatrical outburst, you probably mean it was over the top and maybe insincere.
But someone could have a theatrical storytelling style that's actually engaging.
True. Context is key. Is it just descriptive about theater, or is it commenting on behavior? Exaggerated.
Theatrical relating to theater or exaggerated behavior. Next, a field of study, theology.
Theology. This is the systematic study of God and religious belief, analyzing doctrines, history, scriptures.
It's a formal academic discipline.
Very much so. You can get degrees in theology. Scholars study things like the nature of God, interpretation of texts, faith, and reason.
So it's not just about personal belief, it's academic study.
Exactly. You'll find theology departments in universities, conferences where theologians discuss complex ideas. It's also shaped history. Think of medieval Europe.
Theology, the study of religion and God. Now something more abstract. Theoretical.
Theoretical. This describes something based on theory, on ideas, rather than practice or direct experience. It exists as a concept, maybe not yet proven in the real world.
Common in science and academia.
Very. A scientist might have a theoretical model predicting something before they can actually observe it.
So it's the idea stage, before the doing stage.
Often, yes. A plan might sound great theoretically, but be hard to actually implement.
Purely theoretical research might not have immediate applications.
Right, like exploring mathematical concepts. Or in economics, you might study theoretical models before looking at the real-world economy. But these theories often form the basis for later practical steps.
Theoretical, based on ideas, not practice. Okay, a pair of adverbs now. Thereafter and thereby. Let's start with thereafter.
Thereafter. It's quite formal, and it just means after that time or after that event. Subsequently, it shows chronological order.
More formal than just saying and then.
Yes, you'll see it more in written texts, legal documents, historical accounts. She graduated in 2010 and thereafter started her career. It marks the next step in time.
Okay, and thereby.
Also formal. Thereby means, by that means, or as a result of that, it shows a direct cause and effect link.
So it connects an action to its result.
Exactly. Again, common in formal writing, academic, legal. He worked overtime, thereby earning enough for a holiday. The extra work directly caused the extra money.
So thereafter, time sequence, thereby cause and effect. Can you give another thereby example?
Sure. Stricter regulations reduced pollution, thereby improving local wildlife. The regulations caused the improvement. She checked the contract carefully, thereby ensuring she understood everything. The checking caused the understanding.
Got it. Very clear distinction. Let's move to a nice adjective.
Thoughtful.
Thoughtful. Yes, a lovely word. It means showing consideration for others. Being kind, thinking about their feelings.
Like giving a thoughtful gift, something they'd really like.
Exactly. It shows you put thought into it. But it also means being reflective, pensive, thinking deeply about something.
So it covers both kindness to others and internal reflection.
That's right. A thoughtful essay explores a topic with depth. Thoughtful feedback shows careful consideration. Even thoughtful silence suggests someone is deep in thought. Thoughtful, considerate, or reflective. Next is thread, which has a literal and a figurative sense.
It does. Literally, it's the thin strand for sewing. Easy enough.
But metaphorically.
Metaphorically, a thread is a recurring theme or idea that runs through something, a story, a discussion, an argument.
Like a common thread in all of someone's books.
Perfect example, a connecting idea. Or you might lose the thread of a conversation if it goes off topic.
A documentary might weave a thread of hope through difficult stories.
Yes, a unifying element. It's a nice metaphor for connections and recurring motifs.
Thread, a strand or connecting theme. Next, threshold. Suggests a boundary or a starting point.
Exactly. Threshold is that point where something begins or changes significantly. It can be physical, the threshold of a door, step over it and you're inside.
But often used metaphorically.
Very often. A company on the threshold of a breakthrough, meaning very close to achieving it, a point of transition.
Or limit, like a pain threshold.
Right, the point beyond which you feel pain. Or an inflation threshold, the level beyond which inflation becomes a major problem. It marks a boundary, a critical point.
Threshold, a starting point or boundary. Now for a strong emotion. Thrilled.
Thrilled means extremely excited or delighted. Really strong positive emotion.
Like being thrilled to get a job offer.
Absolutely. Intense joy, excitement. The kids were thrilled by the theme park rides.
Thrilled about getting into a top university.
Definitely. Thrilled your favorite team won the championship. It conveys that buzz of excitement and happiness.
Thrilled. Very excited and happy. Next verb, thrive. Suggests flourishing.
Precisely. Thrive means to grow, develop, or succeed really well. Vigorously. It's about flourishing, not just surviving.
Like plants thriving in the right conditions.
Yes. Growing strong and healthy. It implies vitality, prosperity.
And it applies to more than just plants.
Oh, yes. Children thrive in supportive environments. A city's art scene can be thriving, meaning it's vibrant and growing. A business can thrive. It means doing exceptionally well.
Thrive, grow, and succeed vigorously. Next, tide. From the sea, but used more widely.
That's right. Literally, it's the rise and fall of the sea. High tide, low tide.
Caused by the moon, right?
In the sun, yes. But metaphorically, tide refers to trends or shifts in opinion, events, or feelings, like the tide of public opinion changing on an issue.
So it captures those powerful, often cyclical movements.
Exactly. You can go with the tide or swim against the tide. A politician might try to ride the tide of optimism. It suggests a powerful, broad current.
And literally, you'd sail at high tide.
Makes it easier to get out of the harbor, yes. Uses the literal meaning.
Tide, the sea's rhythm, or the flow of trends. Next verb, tighten. Making stricter or more secure.
Yes, two main senses. Physically tighten bolts on a machine, making them secure.
Or tighten your grip on something.
Right. But also metaphorically, making rules or controls stricter. The government might tighten regulations on pollution.
Or tighten security measures.
Exactly. Or a company might have to tighten its budget, meaning cut spending, be more careful with money.
You can also feel a tightening in your chest if you're anxious.
Yes, that physical sensation linked to emotion. So physical securing or making rules, finances stricter.
Tighten, make secure or stricter. Let's talk about timber, wood for building.
Timber is wood that's been prepared for building or carpentry. Or it can mean the trees themselves that are suitable for this use.
So not just any wood, but wood intended for construction.
Generally, yes. Used in forestry, architecture, construction, high-quality timber for furniture.
Old houses often have timber beams.
Yes, structural timbers. And today there's a big focus on sustainable timber harvesting, managing forests responsibly.
Timber wood for building. Next, timely, about good timing.
Timely means happening at just the right moment. Opportune often implies it prevented a problem or made things work out well.
So not just on time, but at the right time.
Exactly. A timely intervention might stop an argument. A timely report meets the deadline and allows for action.
The timely arrival of an ambulance.
Crucial, life-saving even. A timely response to a complaint can build customer trust. It's usually a positive word.
Timely, happening at the right moment. Okay, next word, tobacco, the plant and its products.
Tobacco. Yes, the plant used for smoking, chewing, snuff, and the products made from it. Comes up in discussions about farming, health, social issues.
A region might be known for growing tobacco?
Historically, yes, but obviously the big association now is health.
Smoking tobacco linked to serious diseases.
Absolutely, which leads to public health campaigns, high taxes on tobacco products to discourage use. It's a complex issue with a long history.
Tobacco, the plant and its products. Now another pair, tolerance and tolerate. Acceptance and endurance.
Right. Tolerance is the noun. It's the willingness to accept differences, opinions, lifestyles. Or it's the capacity to endure something, like pain or a drug.
So tolerance is something you have.
Yes. Tolerate is the verb. It means to allow or put up with something, often without really liking it. You endure it without fighting against it.
So tolerate is something you do. Can you give contrasting examples?
Sure. Promoting tolerance in society means encouraging acceptance of diversity. Having a high tolerance for spicy food means you can eat it without problems. Religious tolerance is a key principle.
Okay, that's the capacity or willingness. Now, tolerate.
You might not tolerate loud noise late at night. A school might not tolerate cheating. Your body might learn to tolerate a new medicine. People in relationships learn to tolerate minor differences. It often implies putting up with something you don't necessarily approve of.
Tolerance, the capacity. Tolerate the action of enduring. Next, toll. It has two meanings.
It does. First, a fee you pay to use something, like a toll road or bridge. Pay the toll, get access.
Simple enough. The second meaning.
That's about the cost or damage caused by something bad, usually in human terms. A war takes a heavy toll on civilians, meaning deaths, suffering, destruction.
So a negative cost or consequence.
Exactly. Long working hours can take a toll on your health. A natural disaster takes a toll on the community. The disease took its toll, prompting action. It emphasizes the negative impact.
Toll, a fee or a heavy cost. Our next verb is top, meaning to surpass.
Yes, as a verb, top means to do better than, exceed, or be the highest ranked. Used in competitions, rankings, sales figures.
An athlete's performance tops the previous record.
Right. A company's profits top expectations. An athlete aims to top their personal best. A new album is expected to top the charts. It means being the best or exceeding a level.
Top, surpass, or rank highest. Now, a very serious word. Torture.
Torture. Yes, extremely serious. It means deliberately inflicting severe pain or suffering physical or mental on someone.
Often for information, punishment, or just cruelty.
Exactly. It's condemned by human rights groups worldwide. The word carries immense weight.
Can it be used more generally for extreme distress?
Yes, sometimes hyperbolically. Waiting for the results was torture. It emphasizes extreme anxiety or suffering. A novel might describe the torture of prisoners. We also talk about emotional torture, psychological abuse. It's always about severe suffering.
Torture, inflicting severe pain or extreme distress. Let's lighten the mood with toss.
Toss, much more casual, means to throw something lightly, without much force or aim. Toss a ball.
Or toss and turn in bed. Restless movement.
Yes. Or toss a salad, mix it lightly. Toss rubbish in the bin. It's generally an informal word for a light, often careless throw or movement.
Toss, throw lightly or move restlessly. Next, total, emphasizing completeness.
Total means complete, absolute, entire, used for emphasis. Total destruction after a fire.
Meaning nothing was left untouched.
Right. Total commitment to a cause, meaning 100% dedication. Total revenue, the entire amount. Total shock, completely surprised. It stresses the complete.
Total, complete, or absolute. Next, toxic, poisonous or harmful.
Toxic, literally poisonous, like toxic chemicals from a factory. Harmful if ingested or touched.
But used metaphorically too, right?
Very much so. A toxic relationship, one that's harmful, abusive, negative. A toxic work environment full of negativity, bullying. Toxic leadership. It describes things that harm well-being, emotionally or psychologically.
So physically poisonous or metaphorically harmful.
Exactly. Toxic effects of radiation exposure. Toxic comments online. It signifies harm.
Toxic, poisonous, or harmful. Next, trademark. Branding and unique features.
Trademark. Two main senses here. Legally, it's a registered symbol, word, or phrase representing a company or product, like a logo. Gives exclusive rights.
Protects brand identity.
Right. But second, it can mean a distinctive characteristic associated with someone or something. His dry wit is his trademark.
A defining feature.
Exactly. A company might file for a trademark to protect a design. A commitment to innovation might be the trademark of a successful business, its key identifier.
Trademark, registered symbol or distinctive characteristic.
Ah.
Okay. Trail, following a path or leaving signs.
Trail can be a path, especially outdoors. A hiking trail through the woods.
Or the signs left behind.
Yes. A trail of breadcrumbs. A trail of clues for a detective. A comet leaves a trail. Figuratively, a campaign leaves a trail of supporters, the impact or followers left behind.
So a path or the marks results left behind.
It suggests following something, or the evidence of something having passed.
Trail, a path or series of signs. Next, trailer. Two common meanings here too.
Yep. First, a vehicle towed behind another, like a truck pulling a trailer full of goods.
Or a caravan people live in.
That too, sometimes called a trailer home. Second meaning, the short preview for a movie, TV show, or game.
Designed to get you excited.
Exactly. Movie trailers are a huge part of marketing now, often shared widely online.
Trailer, towed vehicle, or media preview. Now transaction, key in business.
Transaction, an instance of buying or selling. An exchange of goods, services, money, a business deal.
A formal term.
Yes, used in business, law, tech. A secure online transaction when you buy something. Businesses record every transaction for their accounts.
It can be an exchange of services too, not just money.
Sure, bartering is a type of transaction. Financial institutions monitor transactions for anything suspicious. It's all about the exchange.
Transaction, an act of exchange. Next, transcript, a written record.
Transcript, a written or printed version of spoken words. An interview transcript, a court transcript, a speech transcript.
Converting speech to text.
Right. Or it can be an official academic record from a university listing your courses and grades.
So written record of speech or academic record.
Exactly. Journalists review transcripts. You request transcripts for job applications. Podcasts might offer transcripts for accessibility. It's about documentation.
Transcript, written record. Now transformation, a big change.
Transformation. Yes, a dramatic fundamental change in form, appearance, character. It's a powerful word for significant shifts.
More than just a small adjustment.
Much more. A city undergoing transformation through regeneration. A caterpillar's transformation into a butterfly.
Personal transformation.
Absolutely. Someone becoming a confident leader after being shy. Businesses undergoing digital transformation, fundamentally changing how they operate. It implies a profound shift.
Transformation, a dramatic change. Next, transit. Moving people or goods.
Transit. The act of moving people or goods from A to B. A package is in transit.
And also public transport systems.
Yes, commonly used for that. The city's transit system, buses, trains, etc. People prefer public transit to driving.
Major airports are huge transit hubs.
Exactly. Millions of passengers in transit passing through on their way somewhere else. So movement or public transport.
Transit movement or public transport.
Right.
Relatedly, transmission, sending something across.
Transmission, sending or passing something from one place or person to another, like the transmission of a virus, or radio transmission, digital data transmission.
Also mechanical.
Yes, the transmission in a car, the gearbox system that transmits power from the engine to the wheels.
So sending information disease or a power system.
Right. Slowing the transmission of a virus. Car transmission needs repair. Radio transmission interrupted. Digital transmission is clearer, covers various kinds of sending or conveying.
Transmission, sending something, or a power mechanism.
Mhm.
Okay, another pair. Transparency and transparent. Openness and visibility.
Good pair. Transparency is the noun, the quality of being open, honest, easily understood, or the physical quality of being see-through, like glass.
So transparency is the quality.
Yes, transparent is the adjective. Describe something that has that quality. A transparent window lets light through. A transparent process is open and easy to follow.
So transparent describes the thing itself. Examples.
For transparency, a government promises transparency in spending. The transparency of glass makes a room feel bigger. Company transparency builds trust. Demanding transparency in an investigation.
And
Transparent curtains, a manager being transparent about challenges, transparent company policies. A jellyfish's transparent body, it means see-through or open honest.
transparency, the quality. Transparent, the description. Next, trauma, deeply distressing experiences.
Trauma, a very significant word, refers to a deeply disturbing experience causing lasting psychological harm, or a severe physical injury.
Both mind and body.
Yes. Physical trauma from an accident, emotional trauma after witnessing violence or disaster. Childhood trauma can have long-term effects.
It's used in medicine and psychology a lot.
Centrally, counseling is often needed to deal with trauma. Films might depict the trauma of war. It signifies deep distress or injury.
Trauma, distressing experience or injury. Now, treaty, formal agreements.
Treaty, a formal agreement between countries or groups. Used to end wars, establish cooperation, regulate relations. Key term in politics, history, international law.
Like a peace treaty.
Classic example, signed to end conflict. Or an environmental treaty on emissions targets. Trade treaties, they are binding agreements between major entities.
Studying treaties helps understand history.
Definitely. Their impact can be huge. Negotiating them can take years.
Treaty, formal agreement between nations groups. Next adjective, tremendous, meaning very great.
Tremendous.
That means very large in amount, scale, intensity, or just extraordinary, excellent. It emphasizes magnitude.
Tremendous effort put into a project.
Right. Tremendous joy on hearing good news, tremendous damage from a storm, tremendous talent in an artist. It's a strong word for very big or very good.
Tremendous, very great, or extraordinary. Next, tribal, relating to tribes or group loyalty.
Tribal primarily relates to tribes, their customs, culture, social structure. Tribal artifacts, tribal elders.
But used more broadly now, too.
Yes, to describe strong group loyalty, even in modern settings. People talk about tribal loyalties in politics or even online fan communities, a sense of us versus them.
So traditional tribes or modern group identity.
Exactly. Celebrating tribal music and dance. Someone might get a tribal tattoo representing heritage. It connects to group identity.
Tribal, relating to tribes or group loyalty. Now, tribute, expressing respect or admiration. Tribute, an act, statement, or gift to show respect, gratitude, or admiration, often for someone's achievements or in memory of someone.
Like a concert held as a tribute to a musician.
Perfect. Or paying tribute to a mentor in a speech. Historically, weaker groups might pay tribute, goods, money, to stronger ones. A monument can be a tribute to war heroes. It's about showing honor.
Tribute, showing respect or gratitude. Next, trio, a group of three.
Trio, simple one. A group of three people or things, very common in music. A jazz trio, a string trio.
But used casually, too.
Yeah, a trio of friends on holiday. A novel about a trio of investigators. A recipe needing a trio of spices. Just means three together.
Trio, group of three. Next, triumph, a great victory.
Triumph, a major victory or achievement, especially after a struggle. Also, the feeling of joy and elation that comes with success.
Like an underdog team winning a real triumph.
Exactly. Or someone's personal triumph over illness. A scientific discovery can be hailed as a triumph. Crossing the finish line after a marathon brings a sense of triumph. It's big success plus positive feeling.
Triumph, great victory or feeling of success. Next, trophy, a prize for winning.
Trophy, usually an object like a cup or medal given for winning a competition, the championship trophy.
But can also be a keepsake.
Yes. Something kept to remember an achievement or experience. An old map might be a trophy from your travels. Hunters might have trophies. Even a degree can feel like a trophy for hard work. It symbolizes achievement.
Trophy, prize, or keepsake. Next, troubled, experiencing difficulty.
Troubled describes someone or something having problems, distress, difficulties. A troubled teenager needing help.
Or a troubled company after a scandal.
Yes. Or we talk about troubled waters, meaning a difficult or dangerous situation. A troubled expression on someone's face suggests worry. It indicates problems or distress.
Troubled, experiencing difficulty or distress. Next, trustee, someone managing things for others.
Trustee, a person or board member responsible for managing assets, money, property for someone else or an organization, like managing an estate or a charity's funds.
It implies a lot of responsibility and trust.
Huge fiduciary duty. They have to act in the best interests of the beneficiaries. University endowments have trustees, charities have trustees overseeing donations. It's a position of significant trust.
Trustee, manager of assets responsibilities for others. Next, tuition, the cost of education.
Tuition, primarily the fee you pay for instruction, especially at college or university. University tuition fees can be very high.
It can sometimes mean the teaching itself.
Less common, but yes. You might say a tutor provides excellent tuition, but mostly it's about the cost. Students work to cover tuition. The rising cost of tuition is a big debate.
Tuition fee for instruction. Next, tumor, a medical term.
Tumor, An abnormal growth of cells or tissue can be benign, not cancerous, doesn't spread, or malignant cancerous can spread.
Doctors might find a benign tumor during a checkup.
Yes. Malignant tumors usually require treatment like surgery, chemo, radiation. Research looks for ways to shrink tumors. Scans can reveal tumors that need checking. It's a core medical term.
Tumor, abnormal cell growth. Okay. Turnout, attendance or production rate.
Turnout. Two main meanings. First, the number of people who attend an event. High voter turnout. Huge concert turnout.
Participation levels.
Right. Second meaning is the amount of something produced. A factory's turnout might increase with new machines. Output level.
Community turnout for a charity event shows support.
Exactly. So attendance or production quantity.
Turnout, attendance or production. One more T word for today. Twist.
Twist. Literally, to turn or bend something. Twist a lid off a jar. Twist your ankle.
Ouch. But also metaphorically.
Yes. To twist someone's words means to distort their meaning. A politician twisting facts.
And in stories.
The plot twist. An unexpected development that changes everything, keeps you guessing.
So physical turning or distorting meaning events.
Precisely. A change or distortion from the expected.
Twist, physically turn or distort meaning. Wow, that was quite a list.
It certainly was. Over 60 words, starting with T.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. We really hope exploring all those C1 level words has not just expanded your vocabulary,
but also given you a better feel for how they work, the nuances, how they make English richer.
Right. Because mastering these kinds of words really does help you express yourself with more precision, more clarity, more confidence, ultimately.
Definitely. They allow for much finer shades of meaning.
So if you found this exploration valuable and you want to keep building your advanced English skills,
please do like this video, share it with anyone else who might find it useful.
And of course, subscribe to the Learn English Lab YouTube channel for more in-depth language learning content like this.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for listening.